The following is a presentation of Morning Drive Media.
Broadcasting from beautiful Burbank, California. This is TNF In Session, the real episode 14. I'll explain. I'm Ken Napzok. And how are all of you? Yes, this is going to be fun. Because if it's not going to be fun, what the hell are we here? Hello, this is the podcast that is recorded on a private's such a dirty word, an exclusive, that's so elitist, on an unlisted YouTube link shared with my Patreon supporters. And then it is my Patreon supporters at certain levels and above that ask me some wonderful thought-provoking questions and get me thinking about all the wonderful things in the world that we want to talk about. We have some great people watching live, and I love to shout them out. The reason I love to shout them out is because without them, I don't exist anymore. So, please, thank you to Jonas Berggren, who needs to go to bed, but is watching me in a different time zone live right now as I record this, and I appreciate that. Chad Benningfield's here. Chad makes horrible choices in cargo shorts and socks and sandals, but we love him nonetheless. He's like my assistant football coach in the fandom community here. The Hump is here from UK. Christy McGee, we call her Ball Drop McGee, Padlock McGee occasionally when we're apparently drunk during the day, but she is one of the Dark Mode Sisters, a subgroup that has emerged here in the Napzok Files community. Lauren Romo is a part of that group, as is Sarah Risley, and Grace Hancock, host of Think Piecing, the podcast, is part of that as well. The Dark Side Sisters. It's the Dark Side Force users, but also those who use the dark mode. I said Dark Side, Dark Mode Sisters, who use that horrible dark mode on their phones and apps. Dark Mode Sisters for life. I think we even have a logo now. And Chad Benefield says cargo shorts forever. And that is why you fail. Old Handsaw is here. He also goes by the name I Got a Name on YouTube, which is confusing to me still, even after all these years. Does Patreon exist anymore? I am fueled by my wonderful supporters on Patreon, and I got to tell you, I don't know what's going on. Patreon's not showing up for a lot of folks, which scares me when your entire business is run on that model. And it's people are like, systems down. Like, oh boy, that could be a problem. But we're going to be talking some positive things here. I got a camera rolling, which is interesting because the camera's up at a nice camera eye line level, but I'm looking down. I'm looking down over here at all the things going on because I got to get some questions up. Where I could do that. I should hook a monitor. I don't have that technology or enough duct tape, but I could hook a monitor to my tripod. And that way I could just get a teleprompter. Why don't I just get a TV studio? Why don't I just do that? Hey, everybody. TNF In Session is built on your questions. And I want to, from Patreon, I want to thank everyone on Patreon, particularly my executive producer supporters and those at the producer level. We got a couple new members there, Jeff and James checking in here. But on the executive producer tier, we got Thomas Risling. Sometimes we call him Sir Thomas Sital. Lethal Logan X, I call him another name, but the people can't know that name. That's his that's his work name. We can't give out a shoot name. Bador, my Twitch coach, Matt Thompson, recently got married to Shelly. I hope Matt is busy on a honeymoon, a social distant honeymoon, and not listening to this. Taymor, Nathan Overdale, First Rate Nate, who was one of the nicest guys in the world. Everyone's nice here. Well, you know, Matt Thompson, we don't know about. No, Taymor's nice too. You're all nice. Nathan Overdale, his wife just gave birth to her second child, and he sent me alcohol to celebrate. What is this with the guy? Chad Benefield, Ty Schallenberger, get with it, Ken. Tommy Terry Green, Jonas Berger, and the aforementioned Jonas Berger and Andrew Steiner. You also know him as Star Wars Ramblings online. Find him. Old Handsaw. I use Old Handsaw's work name. That's his work name. His shoot name we don't use often, but I know it. Zach Taylor and Donald Long, a.k.a. Ranger Donald, both a work and shoot name. Dark Mode Sisters are uniting. I got to take a sip of water live on air. I'm sorry to do that. This is what happens when you record your podcast live. I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Here's what's going on. I don't know when this emerged. I love toast. Put that on a t-shirt. I love lamp. I love toast. But I move away from it sometimes. Sometimes I go away from toast for like 2 years. And just recently I was like, oh, you know what I love? Toast. I gotta take another sip of water. Wow. I'm gonna have to edit that out. And so I've been getting some good wheat bread and some organic crunchy peanut butter from Sprouts and some jelly. I like apricot jelly, strawberry jelly, preserves, really. This week I got sugar-free strawberry preserves, which just might as well be like Play-Doh, tasteless Play-Doh on a sandwich. And I don't have, I know there's different kind of toast, and I have I'm fortunate enough to have an audience that's not just here in the States. I love the States. I'm proud of the States. I'll still celebrate the States, but I like my friends around the world too. And you all have different toasts. I'm not going to say weird toasts. All right. That'd be very Teddy Roosevelt of me. I don't know. Over there in the UK, you put weird things on your toast. I don't know what you call toast. I might call a sandwich. I don't know. God bless you all. I want to try something, a toast from another country, but I just love peanut butter, jelly, a little honey on it. But what's happening is that transition suddenly out of nowhere to me making myself peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, which is great. And then all of a sudden I started getting granola bars, and I realized that at 44, suddenly I'm packing myself the same lunch my mom made for me in the 3rd grade. And it's amazing. I'm having it's a nostalgia trip, and I legitimately feel better. I think it's some sort of, self therapy, some self, care. Going back to a nice, warm safety spot of my life, 3rd grade with a sack lunch. I just need a Capri Sun or a box of High C, maybe some carrot sticks, and a folded up napkin and a note that says, I love you. And I think I'm okay. I think I just stumbled on a way to make us all feel better during the lockdown. Pack yourself a brown bag lunch and leave yourself an affirmation. Wow, we should market this. Where's Tony Robbins? He'll steal it from me and I'll steal it back because it's working. And I just did it before. That's why I'm choking. I'm choking on bread that I just had. Don't go podcast. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to, but also don't have flaky bread right before you podcast. That's the whole point of that story. But here's the other thing. This is freaky. I did it today for the first time. I made the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and for the first time in my life, I do mean for the first time in my life, I cut the peanut butter jelly sandwich in half as if I was preparing it for 7-year-old me. It was really weird. But it made me feel safe. I don't know. Live in chat, we've got people telling me about Marmite and my UK friends. Jonesbergen switched the mustard for some ketchup. Marmite is the food of God, says Graham Butler. Man, I don't know what Marmite is. I know what Vegemite is. I've heard the name, the term, the phrase, the description, Marmite. I'm not saying like I've never heard that. I don't know what it is. I've had Vegemite. I won't be having much Vegemite again in my life. No, I don't cut, Christy, I don't cut the crust off. That's going on live. And by the way, if you're listening here later on a podcast, you are capturing the audio of a man talking to banners on YouTube. Marmite? Marmite. No, I'm going to say Marmite because it sounds appropriate. I don't know. Marmite. It's like Vegemite, but better, says Jason Humphreys, straight from the UK, proving that the Australian United Kingdom rivalry goes on. It's a yeast extract. Well, that just, I can't think of one thing I want less on a snack than a yeast extract. And you can quote me on that. Put that on my Yelp review. Pete Rich has joined the conversation playing the Ghost of Sushima, which is a game I do want to play. I just think is it's just I don't have that type of life right now. All right, so I got a couple questions. We're gonna have to go. I'm gonna really have to rely on the live audience for questions this time around, and we'll take a quick break too, because I had a weird scheduling thing. I put the prompt up for this episode, and on the Patreon page asking for questions, and I had to move the show back a week because the conflict, and so I only got a couple questions. So that means the people live in the audience, I'm gonna have to rely on you for some questions. Lauren Roma says, "We got you, Ken." Graham Butler, who by the way is over there. What actual? Well, Graham, don't give up your city. People will find you. He's wearing a kilt. He says beer is a yeast. I don't like beer. I'm not Mark Ellis. You're confusing me with Mark Ellis. Not all white comedians look the same. I despise beer. I drink beer because my own spit is the last alternative. Beer, not good. I'm a cocktail man, which you could clip that out and use that wrong, I guess. Graham Butler, he reveals his Edinburgh. Good luck finding me. I'll find you. I bet if you drop me off in this town center or the village center or town center of Edinburgh, I bet I could find you within 4 pubs, Graham. Because I bet you by the 3rd pub, someone will know you. And they'll lead me right to your doorstep. Jonas Bergen is with me. We'll find you. I'll find you. I am a strawberry daiquiri man, Christy McGee. That was the first drink I ever had, as revealed on Saturday Night Napzok. When I do Saturday Night Napzok, there's the true facts about your host. I'm rest assured, every fact in there is pretty much true. Graham says we have 476 pubs. So you're probably right. I guarantee 476 pubs. I could get to by 3. I'll give myself 3 to 5 pubs. If I have a picture and a name, someone will be like, "Oh, this bloke is up the road, man. He's over there in Essex," and I'll find him. I know Essex isn't near Edinburgh. I think I'm being insensitive. I apologize. All right, a couple questions. Let's start with these prepared questions, and then we'll go to live question from the audience there. And in the old days on TNF In Session, we'd take phone calls. I might have to find a way. I think I found a way. You know what? I got a way. We're gonna do a little Joker dropping a broken pool cue stick in the middle of the room in a second on the other side of the break. Okay. We got some questions coming in here right now. All right. Jason Humphreys, the hump. We call him if you call him Mr. Humphreys, he'll be upset. The hump. What concert in your lifetime would you like to be at? For me, the Freddie Mercury tribute concert in 1992 would have been cool. That's a good choice. Are there any historical concerts you would have liked to be at? Early Beatles in Hamburg for one, but for me, the first time Beethoven's Fifth was performed in 1808. I googled the year. Oh, see that changes the question. I mean, it makes the question giant in scope. I don't know how many concerts there were in 1312, but there might be some kind of hymnal that was sung that I wouldn't mind seeing. Of modern concerts, I'm a huge Beatles fan, so yes, I'd love to see. You could almost pick any Beatles show, but I'll tell you, the one that I would have wanted to have been on was the rooftop concert, the Abbey Road, the top of the Get Back. That's that era. I will get me up on the roof so I could hear them say, "Thanks, Mo. I'd like to say, pass. I'd like to say, thank you on behalf of the group, myself, and I hope we pass the audition." I would have loved to have been there for that. Cold, frozen day, lunchtime, UK, everyone looking up, wondering what's going on, and I'm just seeing McCartney just wailing on Get Back. Ringo with that kind of like cold, red, snot-covered nose pounding the skins. I would have. That's the Beatles show I would have wanted to see. As far as other concerts in time here, you know, of the famous concerts, right? The one that the Red Rock Amphitheater show that U2 did in the mid '80s and Sunday Bloody Sunday, the video is based around. That would have been cool. That would have been cool. None of the wood. I'm okay with the Woodstocks. It depends if you're asking this question here. Yeah, Kristen McGee in live chat says time travel for Snotnose. Right? It should be a great, like Stephen King Amazon Prime show. Oh, old Hansauce, right? George Harrison tribute concert at Royal Albert Hall. Concert for Bangladesh. I love that. Wawa is one of my favorite songs. And I joke about it, but when people are always like, what's your favorite moment on film? I'm like, when Ringo Starr and Jim Keltner were going beat for beat on the drums during Wawa at the opening of the concert for Bangladesh, and people laugh. And I'm like, no, that's like my favorite moment on film. That would have been good. No festivals for me. Definitely not Altamont. Definitely not Woodstock 69, 99, or any of the Woodstocks. Unless with this time travel based question, I'm in some like time travel box hanging above it all. Or maybe, you know, the Beatles thing, I'm transported up to the cold and on a top of a rooftop on Abbey Road. But I'd go to like Woodstock, maybe watch Joe Cocker sing, you know, a little help from my friends if I'm like not on the mud and don't have to use one of those porta potties, or in 1999 getting a mud fight with Fred Durst. Like that's what I would do. But as far as like, I enjoy good classical music, but I'd like to see Mozart, you know, I'll just go, you know, get F. Murray Abraham's autograph at like a Wizard World. The Harrison, Prince, Jeff Lynne, Tom Petty one was at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There was the tribute one. So that's a great question. It gets me thinking. Not on the mud was the phrase for the second. What do you mean, Chris? Well, both had a lot of mud problems. I just don't like festivals. I don't want a warm $12 beer, and the only escape I have is maybe a tent. This is why I don't do Burning Man. I can get behind finding some peace and tranquility in the desert, but if I don't have a Black Rock City Hilton, I'm not there. So if I'm not at the Anaheim Pond, I don't know if I want to see a concert. It's my fault. That's on me. All right. Donna Long, we'll be talking. I'm sure we'll be talking about this concert one. They'll pop into my head from time to time, like just famous events that I'd like to see. Because like, you know, my late uncle, I've told the story. He used to, for a while after he got out of the Navy, or maybe it was before the Navy, he's a little bit older than my dad. They moved out here from Iowa after all moving over from Russia, and then they moved to Anaheim and LA. And so my uncle, I think even my dad for a while, they all moved up. I think it was when they're just out of the house, and they all moved up to like Sunset and everything. My dad ended in the Navy. My uncle was in the Navy. But my uncle would always tell me stories. He used to go to the Whiskey A Go-Go when the Doors were like the house band, when they were like nothing. And he told me a story of hanging out on a street corner waiting for in between shows, probably smoking the good Lord's weed, talking to David Crosby, like mind-blowing stuff. I wouldn't mind that stuff. Jonas Bergen and Graham Butler talking about reading festival. Kristen McGee says peace and tranquility is found in her bathtub. That sounds accurate. Jonas Bergen, last concert you went to, live chat. Last concert I went to, God, I don't remember. I mean, seriously, it's been a while. I kind of stopped going to live music shows. I miss them. I used to go House of Blues. I saw Liz Phair over the House of Blues a lot. Roxy, used to go to the Roxy, Keystone, Whiskey. I used to do all that kind of stuff, or mid 2000s. Oh, you know, it was the concert. I wouldn't say concert. Let's just say live music performance. It would be a couple with my friend Van William, who is just a talented rock star. And he had that was actually right before the lockdown. He had a little show. He was opening up, doing about 5-6 songs. and some headlining stuff. And me and my friend Owen Mugen, a lot of you know from This Is Life when he pops on the network, we met and went up there and watched him play. And like 2 weeks later, lockdown started. Before that, it was Van William as well, doing the closing of his country album tour here in LA. Yeah, Van's great. Jonas Bergen. Check out Van William. He's the best. Such a sweetheart of a person, too. So, all right. So, next question here. We go to Donald Long. We call him Ranger Donald here in the community. And by the way, get in here. This is a great community. If you're watching this later, because I released this on public, on YouTube, which is a scary thing. YouTube's just I don't know. If you're watching later and you don't really know me, this is just I don't do this kind of show every week. Do some silly stuff. Got the Box Score Heroes baseball stuff going now, but this is about the community that's formed up around my silly words into this microphone, and it's great folks. And Donald Long, Ranger Donald, is one of them, and he says this kind of similar question to the Hump. But what sports moment or event would you like to be back in time somehow and watch it live? Donald says, for me, it was really hard to choose. So here are the ones I couldn't choose from. Jesse Owens at the 1936 Olympic Games. That's a great choice. Just got a big F-U to Hitler. Game 6 of the 1998 NBA Finals. Jordan's last game as a Bull. And finally, WrestleMania 1. Interesting choice there. Bonus picks are Patriots. As a Red Sox fan, Super Bowl, was it 51 and the entire, I can't do Roman numerals anymore. They've gotten too high in the Super Bowl. The entire 2004 ALCS. As a Yankee fan, Donald, 2004 ALCS, I was in a green room at the Ice House Comedy Club in Pasadena with a bunch of Boston comics when Dave Roberts stole that base and the Red Sox came back and won. It was one of my more painful memories as a Yankee fan, and I don't hold on to sports pain anymore. But as far as historic sports moments, being there live, because I've seen a few. I've been around the block, Kirk Gibson's home run, some great Olympic moments. I watched them live, and it's always kind of fun. Janet Jackson at the Super Bowl, great sports moments. I've seen them all. So as far as attending in person, Mark McGwire's record-breaking 60-second home run, the shot down the line left field. All things considered, I still love McGwire, and I still love Sosa and love what they did for the game, controversies and all. We talked about it on Box Score Heroes last week. Would have liked him in there. The Owens, one would have been interesting, because here's the other question. It's 1936. You're at the Olympic Games. You're in a time machine, and you're there to watch Jesse Owens win a race. But would you also try to assassinate Hitler? That's the question that Quentin Tarantino would try to answer. That might be good. Christy McGee was at the Bloody Sock game. Oh, you Red Sox fans, man. Lauren Romo's at the 1994 World Cup. Look at that. Jonas Bergen says, Van has a song with the Swedish group First Aid Kit. Oh, yeah. I have not seen First Aid Kit live, but I was on a video call with Van, and they were on tour, and they were like in the room, and Van, we were doing a Star Wars thing, and they were laughing at him. I forget the girls' names. I'm so sorry. The First Aid Kit, look them up. And they were like in the room laughing, kind of teasing Van for being a Star Wars nerd. And that was cool, Jonas. That was cool. They're great. They're really good. They're great on Revolution. Christy McGee says in all caps, I'm not a Sox fan. Prove it. Prove me wrong, children. Prove me wrong. Lauren Romo, you guys, this is great. Live chat. Lauren Romo, my sports highlight. I was at the 2006 ALCS when Maglio Ordonez hit the home run. Oh, that was a great one. I was watching that live. Jason Humphreys would go to the 1966 World Cup final. Old Handsaw. Miracle on Ice. Do you believe in miracles? Yes. Great moment. Great moment. Even though I know the team's pissing people off recently. Chad Bedefield says, my wife and I were the first Major League Baseball interleague game between the Braves and the Orioles. Got to see Cal Ripken Jr. I remember that. And I think that day the Rangers and Giants also played, and they were like the first other interleague game. Good stuff. Pete Rich once heckled Maglio pretty heavily at a Cleveland game. That's okay. I like Maglio. You ever hear that story? For those who aren't sports fans, we'll talk about this on Box Score Heroes more, I guess. Maglio Ordonez saved a life by just being a baseball player who was hurt. And unfortunately, a lot of people obviously affected and lost their lives on 9/11. This isn't a lighthearted 9/11 story. But Maglio Ordonez was hurt for the White Sox. And there's this guy, he told the story. He goes, he was heading into the World Trade Center to go to work. And he remembered that he had Maglio Ordonez active on his fantasy baseball team, but he knew he was hurt. He saw in the paper, oh, God, he's hurt. So he turned around and he dealt with that. And that delay kept the guy from going into the office, and he would have been up there. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. You never know what you do could save someone else or change your life. So I always remember that. Every time I hear the name Maglio Ordonez, I remember that story. Lauren Romo attended the NBA Finals. There you go. So as far as historic event, the one I'd like to be at, I'd say like the Greco-Roman wrestling when it was all nude, like just watching that one, right? Just taking notes, taking score at home. Now, I wouldn't mind seeing, I'll say it. What is it, April 15th, 1947? Jackie Robinson's first game. I wouldn't mind watching that. Maybe pounding some faces in the stands of people saying all the things to him. I wouldn't mind at all doing that with the time machine. Wouldn't mind doing that. Bobby Thompson's home run in 51, which we know now was all a work. He hit it, but Giants were stealing signs like the Astros were back then. I'm a Yankee fan. I got to watch it live, but being in the stadium when Charlie Hayes grabs that pop foul and win the World Series in 1996, I think that would be good. Trying to get out of the baseball realm. I don't know. I'm a Miami Dolphin football fan, but I want to go beyond that scope to legendary moments in sports history. You guys are naming a lot of them there. Maybe the first Super Bowl, just experience that. Watch Max McGee catch a pass. That would make Mark Ellis happy. But that's a good question, Donald, because you could go a long way. You go. I'm a baseball fan, a baseball historian in my heart, so I'm having a lot of that. Jonas Bergen says, last sports event I went to were Monster Jam Monster Truck event with Gravedigger. It does count as a sport. Absolutely. The Ice Bowl is a good choice. Ranger Donald says that. As far as wrestling, I'm a wrestling guy. Yeah, WrestleMania 1, WrestleMania, probably WrestleMania 5, Macho Hogan. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Maybe being in attendance for some of the big WrestleMania moments, but back in the day, like I love all the current ones, so I wouldn't mind being there for those. But it's the history. You don't just want to be here. I want being there at the beginning of all things would be good. I know some folks who were at the WrestleMania 2. John G's got it. Super Bowl 1 the night before, drinking with Max McGee. That is the ESPN scripted series pitch, John G. The night before, and you go in a time machine and you want to go back to 36 to watch Jesse Owens and assassinate Hitler, you end up accidentally going to Super Bowl the night before Super Bowl 1, and you're out drinking with Max McGee. I think that. All right, that's a great question. You got this one coming over from the Discord section from Trey. We call him definitely not Trey. I don't know the story about that, Trey. I'd love to hear that story one day. Not now, Trey. Send it in a sternly written letter. Trey says, does the Mustang have a name yet? Have you assigned it a gender? Do you speak to it the way you talk to Ratsy? I must know. This is a good question. We all kind of name our cars, right? We all have personalities attached to our cars. I don't necessarily always nickname them. The Camry, I think the Camry just became a 2000. It was the 2004 Camry. That was its official title. My first car, and we were talking about this on the Twitch stream the other night. Hashtag PT Cruiser and PT Cruising for life. My first car was a 1981 Ford Fairmont. White with a leather top. Not the top wouldn't come down. It was just a leather top. Red, crimson red interior. And yeah, I know it was cool. I was as cool as you would think. And I just without hesitation dubbed that car the Millennium Fairmont. And felt like I really made a good move and decision in my life to call it that. Like I felt I was going places by naming my Ford Fairmont the Millennium Fairmont. Like, and I had a blanket in it because it was like a grandma car, and I literally. Do you say literally or literally? What do you all say? For comic purposes, my old friend Brian Keith Etheridge used to have a joke, and it involved the term literally. So I did that. But I bought the car $1,000 cash, or my parents did, and I had to pay my parents back. And I bought this Ford Fairmont from literally a grandma, not my grandma, just a grandma that I think my mom and dad were helping her like clean her house or something like that. She lived in a mobile home park in Pismo Beach, California, and she couldn't drive anymore. And so they're like, well, our son needs a car. So she's like, all right, I'll sell it. And I remember backing out that car for the first time. Oh, I thought it was so cool. But I put in an Afghan rug or Afghan blanket in the back. So I was like, it's a grandma car. I'll make fun of that. But then I named it the Millennium Fairmont, and it was a cool car. Then I got rid of that and got the 1992 Plymouth Colt 2-door hatchback. Shook when it went over 35 miles per hour. The AC worked, but I had to choose between moving the car, driving, or running the AC. It was a weird decision. I called that the Blue Tic Tac, and that one was car was good. Then, oh God, this is probably not thrilling, compelling broadcasting, but I'm going to go with this. We talked about this on Twitch just last night. The next car after that I had was a 1990 Chevy Lumina. I only had that car for a year till it started to catch on fire in traffic on the side of the mountain in Laurel Canyon, heading out back into the valley. And I called that the heated Lumina because the heater was so good and it was a comfortable car. And that just was a joke I made. But I would name like my friend Gavin had a big old like 1972. I don't know if it was a Chevy. It was one of those like big, bulky, would have been considered classic at one point, but definitely wasn't, just kind of a big, bulky pickup truck. And I named that the big old rusty bucket of fun. And that stuck until the very end. After that, I didn't name the car. Then I got the Infiniti. I just called that the luxury family sedan. I'd refer to that as that. It didn't have a name. The Camry, I think, just became the 2004 Camry. All that leads up to Trey's question. I'm sorry for the boring answer. I now have a 2002 Ford Mustang, black convertible, black top convertible, silver body. Got it from my friend, actually Lethal Logan X, in the executive producer tier. Sold me the car after my Camry was taken from me. Rest in peace, Camry. I haven't named it yet. I think it's slowly becoming just the Mustang, capital T, capital M, the Mustang. And I think that kind of says it. We'll find out. Maybe I'll take an open competition submissions for the nickname of the Mustang. But I don't believe nicknames work like that. There's an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm. I think it's like season 9. And yeah, I think it's season 9. And the guy who used to be on Ally McBeal is like the head lawyer guy. And he's not Peter McNichol, the other guy, Gil something or other. And he's like a doctor. And he goes and he has the nickname Rusty, and it's on his business card. And Larry David's like, you don't look like a Rusty. And like, did you earn this nickname? Because he kind of gave it to himself. And I agree with that. I nicknames just happen. They'll click in one day. I actually hired an employee back in the old security days, and he's actually a couple years older than me. And he was like, it was his like part-time job or whatever. But he was a medic. He was a first aid EMT, drove an ambulance, and I hired him to work for my team. And he told me his nickname. I don't want to embarrass. Should the guy listen, I don't want to embarrass him. But he told me his nickname. I'll just say it's I don't know, Cap. And I'm like, what? but your name, it says your name here. And he's like, yeah, but you can call me Cap. And I was like, I don't know you. You haven't earned a nickname for me yet. I'll christen you with some. Yeah, but people call me. I don't. You have to earn it. Nicknames are earned. Nicknames are earned. Lauren Romo in chat. Her family and her. What I forget. Lauren, it was your family. They had a PT Cruiser. Woo! My God. Catching up with chat here. Pete Rich says my current car does not have a nickname, but it is a Decepticon, complete with a Decepticon license plate frame and logo on the screen of my console. So Pete's driving around his Transformers toy. You guys in live chat, you're listing some great first cars. Jonas Berggren has a Citroen C3 pile of junk called Scrothridge. How do you say that in broken, stupid, arrogant English? Scrothrigen. Translation is a pile of junk. My old radio partner, one of my bosses, Freddie B. He still collects Citroens. Family car, says Lauren. Good for you. Zach Anderson has just tried. Oh, by the way, Zach Anderson's arrived. Just try to avoid nicknames like mine. Whiteout. Yeah, his nickname is that what you're talking about, Zach? Your nickname's the Whiteout. That doesn't sound right. All right. On the podcast, we thank you so much for listening, but we're going to take a quick break. On the YouTube stream, you get bonus content. You get to watch me switch out the files, and then we get to hang. And on the other half of this show, TNF In Session, episode 14, we will take live questions. All right, everybody, you guys are doing great. You're just doing the Lord's work today. It's just amazing. So we're going to switch out the files here. All I'm doing is doing a nice save as, right? Just doing a save as. And then we're going to get going here on the second half of the show. Great stuff, as always, except for you, Zach Anderson. You know what you did. Switch the file is the best part. Your old high school name, Zach, was Whitey. Yeah. Switchy switch. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably back then. It might have seemed like that's something you could live with. Is this because you don't have a tan, Zach, and you live in Wisconsin? It seems like that might be it. You guys are doing great. The file is switched out here. I'm just now catching up. Jonas Bergen's going to leave us because he needs to sleep. Goodbye. Good night, Jonas. Wow, I'm choking. Jonas, you're the best. I love Jonas's profile picture because from what it just looks like he's wistfully looking out a window, waiting for spring. Ranger Donald says, my escape actually got me my nickname. There you go. When the car strikes back. That's pretty good. So, yeah. Hey, oh, we got another question. All right. Andy just checked in with another question, and actually it's not baseball. Andy and I always have good baseball conversations. So, we'll do that on the other side. And I'm getting a bunch of Schmodown emails. Ignore. Okay. Are you guys ready in live chat? Everyone be quiet. Everyone silence. Put your phones on silent. We're coming. We're coming back. All right, we're back here on TNF In Session, episode 14, the actual episode 14. I miscount my numbers a lot on the podcast. It's a problem. And I think last month, I do these once a month or try to. And I did it last month and oopsie, that didn't work out. I counted wrong and I said last month was episode 14. This is episode 14. Hilarious. I know. All right, here's what I'm going to do. We got a question that just came in. And then I'm going to go up here to the Discord server. And I'm going to go to the live link channel. I'm going to drop a link in. It's the StreamYard link. And I know a lot of people do this, get good fan involvement. No one had this idea. Well, no one person had this idea. But if anyone wants to try to pop in live onto this show, you got a camera and you're not afraid to talk and get into the conversation respectfully, the link's there for you. First come, first serve. We have got Andy Ortiz coming in with a great question. I love Andy's questions. Where did that question go? Oh, I know where it went. It's in the other link. Bear with me. Listen to this nice theme music, generically purchased at Audio Jungle, but I like it. Andy Ortiz. Baseball season's coming. Andy's probably happy. He's a Ranger fan. Andy says, what do you think of music react channels? It seems gimmicky to me, especially people who react to obscure bands that I love. A channel called Lost in Vegas seems to be the most genuine. Okay, I'm going to admit something. I don't know what that is. What is that? So it's a music reaction. How can you react to music? Is it on YouTube? Someone help me. Is this like TikTok? I understand. I understand how TikTok works, but like, I don't want to understand how it works. Because if there's a whole like YouTube subculture of music reacting, like I'd have a lot of fun doing that. Kristen McGee in live chat says, I didn't know that was the thing. Huh. That, Andy, that's a great question. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of reacting as content. Not that what I'm doing right now is super content, but, it's also, I love discussing it. So a music react channel where you play a song, react to it, and discuss the merits of the song, break down the emotional meanings of the song, or just the cool beat, or just what you like or don't like. I can get behind that. We do it for movies. Why not do it for music? And there's music podcasts out there. It is touchy because, like I could play a Spice Girls song right now from my phone, but then this video's taken down and I don't get to earn my 12 cents from YouTube. And it's a little like, I lost my train of thought because I got the answer. Okay. Carbon Swap. Hey, what's up, Carbon Swap? Like a banjo player that's never seen Tom Morello before. They film their reaction to seeing or hearing the music for the first time. Okay, that's interesting. And it is on YouTube. Okay. Lauren and Christy, the Dark Mode sisters, are out of touch on this there. But as far as reaction, that's what I was saying. It's tricky with music because I do the KZOC radio on the Patreon page, which is I play like 8 of my a monthly playlist. I still need the July one to come out. And I just play like I'm a DJ. I wish I could do that on a regular podcast form without getting in trouble. But it's not just about getting in trouble. I even feel bad doing it on the Patreon page because those artists aren't getting their 2 cents. It's getting them some exposure, everything. But exposure currency only goes so far, particularly when you're a struggling artist. And the rock stars will tell you, my buddy Van William, to bring up again, I don't want to bring up too much, but he's got several albums out. He was in a big band for a while, Port O'Brien. He goes on tour. And sometimes it's a struggle. It's just, it's like people think if you're on YouTube, you're automatically, a millionaire. And it's like a lot of the big successful YouTubers don't live and don't start out in LA or New York. They start out in smaller towns where maybe they own a 4-bedroom house because they work down at the power factory and now they're doing YouTube videos. Then they get big. Then they move to LA. That's not the template that works for everyone. Same for rock stars. So, all right. So some are done well and reinvigorated love of certain bands. Most are pretty lousy. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I'll check that out. What, like, how many clicks till you get like Zoomer reacts to Fleetwood Mac? Is that kind of content? I don't know. I'm grabbing this notepad. I feel like I'm Johnny Carson. Wild and wacky stuff, Ed. Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan. All right. What are we going to... so live questions. We'll take some live questions and we'll see if anyone's brave enough to get into the Thunderdome here. We'll see how that goes. This is the podcast where I hang out. Thank you to all of those who are listening to Saturday Night Napzok, the podcast I release most Saturdays. I think soon I might have to. There might be a Saturday night where there's something else released. I take a break from Saturday at Napzok because I put it all together myself. Though this past week, Kyle Harlow contributed a great sketch concept and some a lot of it, like it was 80% his, and I just reworked some stuff. Christy McGee says, "Are you trying any new recipes this week?" This week, so I did jump in on a cucumber Greek salad. We talked about that on 5 Extra Minutes on Patreon this morning. No, this week, Christy, I'll tell you what we're doing this week. We're going back to some old recipes that I've been trying over the last 3-4 weeks to make sure I still know how to do them, that it was just a one-time thing, and then can I improve them? So tonight for dinner, at the time of this recording, we are going to have pestadillas again. Pestodillas, not pesta, pestodillas, which is real simple: tomatoes, mozzarella cheese, some garlic, some pesto sauce. I might add some other little seasonings, maybe a little red wine vinegar, and a quesadilla. So it's like a caprese quesadilla, and I think that's what we're doing. On the reaction videos, that Pete Rich says, I only watch semi-truck trailer reactions. Pete, is that a reference? Do you know that? Do you know what that means to me and Josh McCouga? I'll tell the story if you don't know. Lauren Romo says, but Christy, going back to your recipe thing, I got some stuff. Okay, it is a reference. Pete, I should never have doubted you. That is a reference to a sketch Josh McCouga kept pitching at Collider. Trailer reactions, but it's truck trailers. Lauren Roma says, will you be watching San Diego ComicCon International from home at all? I will not be. I love San Diego Comic-Con. I love a lot of Comic-Cons, Wizard Worlds and WonderCons and LA Comic-Cons and all those things. I love them. San Diego Comic-Con is the granddaddy of them all for a lot of reasons. But for me, what I love about it is not the actual event. This is going to sound privileged, but I've been fortunate to go every Comic-Con I've gone working it, press, professional badge, or whatever you will say. I've been a part of a team that's gone. Some I've had crazy. The first ScreenJunkies Central one broke me. I had a stress-related near heart attack 2 days before. It was a mess. I don't like that Comic-Con. The one right after that, actually, the Comic-Con in 2017, Cody Hall just tweeted about it today, kind of a subtweet, and it was hilarious. Don't have a lot of great memories about that Comic-Con, but throughout them all, and I've been going to San Diego Comic-Con since 2014, which doesn't seem like a lot, but in con years, that's a very long time. What I don't like attending them. I don't like the panels. There's some fun moments. It's being down there. And I'm not even talking about like the parties. I've been fortunate to get in some parties, and after a while you just kind of realize the parties are jack shit. I don't try to swear much, but there you go. Mom, I'm sorry. It's being down there. It's being in this giant nerd bubble. It's being in an entire city. This is why San Diego Comic-Con, I still think, is one of the favorites, despite it being so big and it can be a problem. A lot of people can form resentment against it. New York Comic-Con, great. But once you cross the street from the Javits Center for New York Comic-Con, you're out of the con. You might, for a block or two, you might see someone dressed as a Ninja Turtle, but then you're gone. The Star Wars celebrations are my favorite, probably emotional conventions, and you're still part of it. But after a while, you get in the cab, you head back a certain way, you're out of the convention, unless you're at a hotel that's close enough. But even then, you're just at the hotel and you're heading to and from. San Diego Comic-Con, it takes over downtown. This is why I get the stress it might put on the city, but I also understand the money it brings into the city. I don't ever want it to leave San Diego. I love downtown San Diego. I love that area. I love getting down there. I love the vibe. I love the craziness, even on the really hot days when you're sweating through your jeans because you're running back and forth between shoots or whatever. I just love it. And Graham in chat says, as much as I enjoy celebration panels and stuff, I get it. I also love the adjacent stuff like Ellis Schmodown, some other show I've never heard of. That's the kind of stuff. It is the atmosphere. And San Diego, that's what it feels. The comedy show, going down to like the American Comedy Club with Ellis and everything, and being all that kind of stuff. Yeah, okay. I've never been to Edinburgh. I know a lot of people go to Edinburgh Fringe Festival, that kind of stuff. Dragon Con in Atlanta has that vibe. I've never been, but like Scrimshaw, the Damons, they go almost every year. I mean, Damons is in their backyard. Scrimshaw has been going for like 15 years, and it's a different vibe, but you're in it. You're there the whole time, and that can get exhausting. But though that is what I'm forgetting, and it's weird. I think I'll actually title this YouTube video "Remembering San Diego Comic-Con," looking back on San Diego Comic-Con like it died, and then people will be like, "Time code." But I so glad. This is a great question, Lauren, because I texted Mark Ellis and Josh McCouga this week, and I think they thought I was joking because we have an ongoing, just sarcastic text thread going. But I was sitting on the couch. I think Grace and I were watching a ghost show or something. It was during a commercial break. And I brought up Google Maps. I went to downtown San Diego. And without looking up the details, though, if you bring up Google, oddly enough, Google Maps is spying on you, and like places you've been will pop up. It's always a little freaky because your reservations were in there or whatnot. But without really using any help, I traced every hotel I've been at for San Diego Comic-Con, including last year's, which was my least favorite Comic-Con in terms of accommodations, because we didn't have a hotel room, and Grace and I had to go stay at my cousin's house for a night, which wasn't they were great, but they were 40 minutes outside of the city on a mountain, and then we switched hotel. We got a little hotel, like a Motel 6 thing across from the live Schmodown, which was a kind of a disaster of an event. And then the hotel was fine, but like the nearest thing to eat was like a broken down Subway restaurant. It was really weird. So I don't have a lot of memories of that, but every other place. And I don't know what, again, it's like the peanut butter and jelly sandwich up top. I guess I need the comfort of nostalgia. I literally was finding every hotel in order and just remembering the good times. Remember the frustrating times. Remember the hard work. There's one hotel. It was technically Harloff's room, but we were all like in it, like 5 of us in it. Those are horrible stories, but pile of towels like I've never seen. But I had to rush back to the hotel room in like high humidity, 100-degree weather, sweating through everything I was wearing, to like 5 times on a Saturday with like memory cards to like edit and upload videos, and then running back to Hall H and grabbing it and running back. And like at the time I was like, this is exhausting. But now I look back, and like, I'm just like, I miss that stuff. So Lauren, to your question, and I don't mean to be like, no, I'm not going to listen to panels. I'm not as interested in that stuff. I am interested in the fellowship. I'm interested in the kinship, and that can happen anywhere. It's not the cons, but you find it there, and it's some kind of special, because San Diego Comic-Con, and I've been part of panels and the Honest Trailer stuff and the ScreenJunkies Central, and that's kind of fun. You get to meet folks that love your work, and I'll never not want to experience that. But you work, and it's Comic-Con for a lot of us. Comic-Con is it's a almost 24-hour a day kind of thing. Not complaining. But you get up at 6 a.m., you get to work, and you come back to the hotel room, you take a quick shower, you change, and you go to a party, and the parties sometimes are work, and that's why you got to attend them and get in, but it's fun. And it's not the things, it's who you're with, and we still have memories of those things. And it's weird. I can be sometimes maybe not as, close, or not as talking regularly to the folks I was at these conventions in, but we can bring that up. Be like, do you remember that one Comic-Con where we were at? Yeah. Oh God, that was best. You guys have heard me tell the story, Tom and I, getting loaded Doritos at 3 a.m. Like, those are the kind of things. And that I am feeling the loss of that this week. So San Diego Comic-Con, hope to be in you next year. Will be a lot of fun. A couple more questions here. No one wants to take, I'm going into the Discord. No one wants to take the link, huh? No one here. I'll even drop it in the boardroom. All right. A couple questions here. Lauren Roma says, would I consider going to a MLB game this year at all? I would. I'm not planning on it, but if they open things up a little bit, I would. I'm not heading to Disneyland anytime soon, but as a lot of you know, I was there the week they announced it was closing on Saturday. I was there on Thursday. And I know people actually had it. I think we know someone who had caught it and was there like 2 days before us. So I'm not dumb in saying that it wasn't a risk. Looking back, I don't think we would have gone. But when I was there, I didn't feel worried, if that makes sense. So I think I'd go to a game. I'd be worried. I'm worried now. Wear my mask and take it all seriously. But I think I'd hold off. But I wouldn't be opposed to it. Kristen McGee, related to that, says, did you buy a cardboard cutout of yourself for baseball games? I haven't, but now I want to look up the pricing. Could I get into Yankee Stadium as a cardboard cutout? For those who don't know what's going on, Major League Baseball, I think it was the Rangers, the new stadium. I saw that yesterday watching a game. You know, they're selling, like the Rangers call it, your doppelganger. Like you can buy a picture of, you could buy a picture of yourself and they'll print it out. And you'll be a cardboard cutout in the stands. I'm game for that. I just don't think the price will probably be worth it. I'd pay up to $100 if I could have like a Napzok Files shirt or a Why We Love Star Wars shirt on, do a little branding, and I'm behind home plate. I'd be up to $100. I don't know. Some people in chat. So we're a few minutes left in the show here because I do have to start making that dinner I talked about. A few minutes left in the show. I'm trying to. Here's the story for those listening on the podcast later. I've dropped the link for the StreamYard, which the show is being broadcast to YouTube from, in the TNF boardroom and live links Discord section on my Patreon page. You can only get in there if you're a certain level of investment in me. And I want to invest back in you. And I want to share your voices. We've had some great phone calls. Star Wars Alice, Pete Rich, they've jumped on some other shows with some phone calls and selling them. So, sorry, I'm like a dog. I'm distracted so easily. Zach Anderson says Brewers are selling them for $50. You know what? I paid $50. It doesn't have to be Yankee Stadium, Zach. Zach, how much do they offer a deal? Could we get a cardboard cutout of you and I, like hands over each other's shoulder, like hanging out? Could they do that? Oh, okay. I'll ask him directly. All right, Zach. How you doing, Zach?
What's going on, guys?
Not much. So what would the cost be for you and I to go to a Brewer game together in that cardboard cutout? Like it could be $75. You and I are just arms over each other's shoulders going, yay, we're at the Brewers.
From what I saw, it was like $50 for each one for Brewers, at least. I don't know about other teams.
I don't care about it. I care about your stupid Brewers. All right. Look into it, Zach. Is there a deal?
Oh.
$75, you get to sit on my lap as a cardboard cutout.
Well, now I definitely have to look this up.
Yes, please. Please. Pete Rich says, hey, it's Whitey. Yes. Oh, boy. All right, Zach, quickly here. And you are like me. You're light mode for life on our phones. How did you get this? How did you get this nickname, Whitey? I'm guessing how, but how did you get it, and how do you get rid of it?
Well, the origin of the nickname is just I had some jerks on my track team, and they decided to call me that because I was really pale, and we all used to run with our shirts off, and they would all make the joke that I was blinding them. And you just get rid of it by not ever talking to any of those people again.
That's actually pretty smart. That's pretty smart. Just ignore it. Just move on. Move along. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here. Yeah, that's not a good one. Like Napzok. I don't like that one. Kenny, you all know I don't like, very few people do I allow them to call me Kenny. And that's what it is. After a while, you just, hopefully stop working for those people, I guess, is what it is. And Pete Rich says, telling more people about it does not help get rid of it. So you shared it with us, so we'll try to not do that.
That's a fair point, Pete.
Yeah. Zach, before I let you go here, do you have the ability to show us your puppy? Which sounds dirty, but it's actually a literal question. Or a literal.
I do have the ability to show you my puppy.
This is for Padlock McGee watching live on YouTube now at this tape. And I know for those listening on the podcast later. Kristen McGee wants a puppy. Oh, there we go.
Right,
Okay.
let's see. Oh,
Look at
there
that.
we go.
Oh, there's a little puppy. So we on you those listening on the audio podcast, I apologize. We are watching a little puppy. What's the puppy's name again?
That's Baxter.
It is Baxter, like our Baxter. Oh, there's two puppies.
Yep.
Baxter and who's
Yep.
that?
And the other one's Topper.
Topper or Tapper?
Topper.
Okay.
Yeah. Topper.
Okay.
Topper's our old man.
This is a cute little puppy pair. Good. How much damage have they caused to your apartment?
Well, Baxter's being very persistent with not being potty trained. So
I understand.
yeah, he's been a handful with trying to keep track of that.
That's awesome.
But other than that, he's been pretty good.
Okay. This is great. I love this. Thank you, Zach, for calling in. I want to do one final thing, Zach.
Yep.
Are you wearing cargo shorts or flip-flops?
Is neither an option?
Then neither is the right answer. Neither is the right answer. Okay. Pete Rich says $50 super chat if the dog poops on camera. Pete, it's not that kind of show, but you can PayPal me the $50 if this happens. Yeah, that's good.
It can be arranged. It can be arranged as long as I get half.
I'm sure. Yeah, well, I'll cut you in. I'll cut you in on that there. Drum roll, says Old Hansa. We're getting ready to see if this dog will defecate on command. No, Zach, I appreciate you. I kid you. If you're on my YouTube channel, go click a couple of videos back, and you'll see a video titled something like "Man Takes on a Mechanical Bull." It's Zach Anderson riding a mechanical bull at Saddle Ranch Sunset following Schmodown Awards a couple years ago. And I still thank you for allowing me to tape you in your vulnerable state, Zach.
Always great memories, Ken.
All right. See you, buddy. See ya.
See ya.
All right. That is awesome there. See, pretty easy. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. I don't know why Graham is afraid to do this. As much Graham Butler has been a fan. I hate using that term fan. He's a supporter. And he is always around at events. You'll see him. He'll whisk past you. You'll see a man in a kilt and just be like, "Hey," you'll be like, "It's Graham Gray Jackal Butler." But now he won't get on the video conference for this phone call. I understand, Graham. I understand. There we go. I guilted him into do it. Please welcome to the show one of my favorite folks out here in the Napzok Files community. Actually, there's only one person I don't like in our community, and it's Will McLean. Oh, hey, Will's here. Here we go. Graham Butler, check it in.
I got my chair under the desk and whacked my knee off.
Look at that. How many Legos are in the back of your display there?
Christ. A-wing, Y-wing, X-wing, and then Orthanc somewhere as well.
Look at that. Is that a Lego 2 tower set over there? What's going on?
Yeah, the Tower of Orthanc.
There you go. All right. Now I know you said you don't really have a question, Graham, but I got a question for you.
Okay.
Let's go back to Orlando 2017 Star Wars Celebration.
I know exactly where this is going.
Well, we've got to settle this because we always reference this, and it's hilarious. What were you thinking following Jeremy Johns into the bathroom? Do I have the story right?
Kind of. I did follow him into the bathroom, but not deliberately. The timing was such that I went in after him, and we were at the sinks together afterwards. Okay. And after we dealt with the various ablutions, and he was just looking in the mirror, and I caught his eye, and he'd done something on Movie Talk or Autumn Tacular, I can't remember what it was, but he was talking about something to do with selling a DVD or a Blu-ray or something,
right?
And making some money off it. It was a joke. It was a thing. So I riffed on that and said something about this might get you another few million quid or whatever. And he just looked at me quizzically, not knowing what on earth I was talking about. There's this bloke, this fat guy and a bald guy in a kilt next to him, in Orlando, saying, "What the hell are you on about?" I bumped into him again later on outside, and and had managed to clear it up and whatnot. So yeah, that's what it was.
No, it's fine. I know what you mean by accidental. We've all had some of those moments there, and just knowing Jeremy, because Jeremy is the nicest, affable guy in the world, but he's also he's got his boundaries, and so I got to imagine he was like, oh, here we go. But I'm sure it turned out fine. That was at the meetup, right? That was at the bar.
Yeah,
show, right?
Blue, yeah. Was it? I think it was at the meet. Yeah, no, because I went to Ellis the next night. It was the meetup. Yeah.
Okay. This is great. Same convention. I had someone wait for me outside my bathroom stall at Star Wars Celebration Convention Hall. Don't do that. That's
no,
excellent.
Or slide a bit of paper underneath the door saying, "Can I get an autograph?"
Yeah, luckily no one wants that from me, but it's good. Well, this is, I always tease Graham. Graham can take the jokes. It's always fun. But so this theory, Graham, honestly, how you said 476 pubs in Edinburgh, right?
Yes. 476 licensed. No, hang on. So 750 something licensed establishments, and 476 of those are pubs.
Where were you actually born? Were you born in Edinburgh?
I was born in Edinburgh, but then I moved down. My family moved down south when I was 1 year old. So I was brought up in England, 50 miles west of London. Hence the English accent.
Right. Yeah, I always do it. Yeah, I do bad accents regardless. But you're right. And then you spent some time in the States though too. So
yes, first time was in. Well, I visit vacations aside, or holidays for us, British folk. Was in 2008 when I went traveling around the world, and I bought a car and a beat up Ford Taurus in Seattle when I crossed over from Canada, and drove it down the PCH and all that, down through Washington, Oregon, and Oregon's very short, I discovered, but I presume it's quite wide, but it's I was through it in no time. And then Northern California, stopped at the Redwoods, things like that, and all the way down to San Diego. And then, before San Diego, from San Francisco across to Yosemite, then Vegas, then Phoenix for some absurd reason. And then back, I went to the Canyon and Vegas and then the Canyon, sorry. And then when I got to the Canyon, I thought, well, I've got nothing else to do. Let's just keep going. Let's see, I went to past Flagstaff and then ended up in Phoenix, in the middle of the most spread out city I have ever been. It was like, you need a car to get one block. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, similar to LA.
Yeah, apart from all that, I spent 2 years working in Boston in 2011 through 13.
There you go. Boston's almost like the UK to me. No, this is great. So when Graham, I get over to the UK, I definitely got to hit some London. I got to hit that point, and I head to your town. Where are we going to go first?
Somewhere on the Royal Mile, probably, because there's at least 20 half decent pubs. The prices are a bit higher because it's a tourist place, but the history and all that kind of stuff, would probably be appreciated.
How drunk would we get that all the rest of our plans would fall apart?
Oh, completely.
Oh, that's great. That's what I want.
And if we started with the Whiskey Society would have to be at the end, because knowing your fondness for whiskey, you wouldn't want to leave. So if we started there, you'd go nowhere else.
Distillery tours, says Trey. Okay, I like this. We'll plan on it. One of these days I'll be able to travel again. We'll all be able to travel again. Graham, see, you think you didn't have anything to talk about, but from stalking Jeremy Johns in the bathroom to taking me to get whiskey drunk I
defer to you on that. You prompted it. So.
There you go. It sounds like you're saying I challenged you, and you wouldn't be wrong. All right. Thank you, Graham. We're going to let Graham go, and we're going to start wrapping up this show here. This has been a lot of fun. We'll do more of this here. If you want to get involved in the show as asking questions in the live chat, maybe even popping in with your video camera, you can do that through Patreon at patreon.com/Napzok. Choose the tier that you want, but this goes from tier 3 on up. Involved with TNF In Session. It's a lot of fun to do this, a lot of fun to pull you all in because you invest in me. I want to invest back in you as best I can. The baseball season is here, so I do want to point everyone to Box Score Heroes podcast YouTube channel. Me talking baseball, special guests. We got Behind the Bag with me and Tom Dagnino. We're trying to do that weekly. And the special shows, so many times will just pop up. I'm going to open up some baseball cards. I might even do some baseball card ASMR on that channel. Everything's going to go on Box Score Heroes. So if you love baseball, head over there, and thank you for the support. Thank you for those who listen to Saturday Night Napzok. Every Saturday night is a show I keep putting more and more into, and I love doing it. The brick building stuff, everything going on Twitch, and pretty soon, that's right, Ken's Kitchen, Cooking with Ken. We're going to be doing some cooking on Twitch as well. Fire and Wine on Twitch with me and Grace is going to return soon. And please listen to Think Piece and Grace's podcast as well. That's it for the plugs. You know where to find me, catnapzok.com, and all those things. This has been a blast. TNF In Session, the real episode 14. We'll see y'all next time. Bye.